Hello there. This is Amy Wilson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, typically in Paducah, Kentucky. But as you can see, if you're one of my followers, I am not in my studio tonight. I am working remotely, but I still wanted to join you live with a look at some Stampin' tips and tricks related to the Fall for Toile paper pumpkin kit that released in September. So we're going to go on and just dive right in, and let me know if you're joining me. If you see a card that you like, give me a comment and share this video to be entered for an opportunity to win one of my alternative projects. And just let me hear from you as you join, or if you're watching the replay. Again, my name is Amy, and I am going to explore the beautiful Fall for Toile paper pumpkin kit with you. So each of our kits comes with full color instructions. I love to look at the instruction sheet that tells you exactly what you need for each of the 3 projects that are available in the kit. So I sort everything by project first. I punch out all the die cuts, and then I do all of the stamping, whether it's sentiments or these little geese or whatever. I do all of that, and then I'm ready to just relax and assemble my projects. And then we have full color instructions that teach you exactly how to assemble. We also have a professional video that is done by Stampin' Up! That you can watch. If you're a visual learner, you just scan this QR code and you can watch that video on YouTube. We call it an unboxing video. So they go step by step for creating each of the projects. So sometimes I like to watch that and just pause it and do the step they just did, and then play it again and then pause it again. So and then this is just a little advertisement for the add-on dies that you can use with your paper pumpkin kit for 3 consecutive months. So this is the last month to use this set of dies, and the acorn coordinates. Of course, you can use the circle anytime, and then the little leaves all coordinate with the September Fall for Toile paper pumpkin kit. So in your kit, you will get the parts and pieces to make 9 cards, 3 each of these 3 designs, as well as an exclusive photopolymer stamp set. And these are your images and words from that photopolymer stamp set. As well as a Cajun Craze ink spot. And I've used Cajun Craze on some of these projects, and I've used pecan pie on some others, and early espresso even. So if you have other ink spots in your collection or full-size ink pads, feel free to mix and match if you'd like. So the purpose of my video is not to recreate the professional video that Stampin' Up! Did, but to give you some helpful hints as you create with your kit at home, or maybe some Stampin' tips and tricks that you can use in your own paper crafting, whether you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber or not. So this is considered project 1. There's a good number of dimensionals on the die overlay, and I agree with the instructions that are in the kit for this. Don't skimp on your dimensionals. That's one thing Paper Pumpkin subscribers never run out of, is dimensionals. And then the little acorn, I stamped in pecan pie. I thought it was a color coordinated with this particular card base. Of course, Cajun Craze would match as well. So that's up to you, but that's how I stamped the little acorn. Thankful is already pre-printed for you. So when you're adding dimension to this, be mindful of where you put your adhesive on the back of this little acorn circle. I honestly went on and just put it right on my card, right underneath here, and then that will attach that little acorn. So that's my helpful hint for that particular project. That one is probably my favorite from this kit, and it has the Toile card base, and these cards are printed on both sides, so you know what I'm going to do with that later. Hang around to watch for that. So project number 2 is one of the do as I say, not as I do things. I didn't watch the video, I didn't look at the instructions, I just looked at the pictures and went on my own. So you're supposed to ink your leaf images in Cajun Craze ink, and then you're supposed to stamp off on scrap paper, and then you stamp onto your actual project so that you get a bit lighter shade, and that would coordinate much better with these pastel autumn leaves that come in the kit. So do as I say, not as I do, because these leaves are full strength. I will give you a tip on this though. I put all 3 leaves on one block and inked leaf them and stamp them all at the same time. So you're not really going to stamp leaves behind this area because there's really no need to. You're not going to see them. So by adding your leaves all on one block, you can work your way methodically around the edges, stamping and not bump into them or overlap. So that's my helpful hint with that particular piece of the kit, is to put all 3 of your leaf stamps on one block. And then I also hated to hide so much of the metallic leaves behind here. So they're pretty big. I'm going to show them to you on the die cut sheet. So they come pre-printed for you, and you just pop them out of here. Super easy. That's how all of our kits die cuts are. But I didn't want to hide the leaves back behind these images, so I actually cut them off back there and use adhesive to attach them to the card. And I'm going to show you where I used them and let you see. So I extended the life of the leaves that were in this kit, and that is not an Amy original idea, although I wish it were. My fellow demonstrator Rachel Tessman did that on one of her alternative projects this time, and I thought it was genius, so I decided to use it on one of mine as well. Then project number 3, all kits are not designed to be exactly what all demonstrators and customers love. So this is not one of my favorite cards, but I went on and did it as the instructions suggested. And what I did on this one, I forgot to stamp the geese in flight. And I actually stamped those once the card was all put together, and that worked out fine. And then I also noticed, look at that, I smeared this. Not sure how that happened, but the good thing about Paper Pumpkin kits, you have 9 cards, but you have 12 labels that you can stamp. So I'm going to peel this right off, and I'm going to stamp it again, and then add that to my card. So this is the 3rd project. So remember to stamp those geese. And I don't know about you, but I know it is autumn, the time of year where these corn stalks are totally brown in the field. So, but I really, really wanted access to my Stampin' Blends markers so that I could add some color to these. And I actually wanted to add green. I might try it in brown. Maybe crumb cake would look like the corn that's in the field right now, ready to be harvested. But I am in a temporary situation here, so I did not have access to my full studio. So I didn't get to do that. But I feel fortunate to have access to everything that I do have access to. I actually didn't use the envelopes to do anything this time, but you so could use these and then just replace these envelopes with some medium envelopes from Stampin' Up! That are just solid white. But this image is the same on each envelope flap regardless of the color. So you have pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and Cajun craze, if I had to guess at those 3 colors. So those are your envelopes. And then how about some alternative projects? Remember, if you're watching the replay or just joining me, that if you leave a comment and share my video onto your Facebook feed, you can be entered to win one of my alternative projects. So I'm going to start with this card. It's uber simple. It took this card base that's double-sided, and we just cut it in half. So you're making a 5 1/4 inch by 4 inch card front, and then this little strip right here is actually the score line from the card. That's your excess, what's left over once you cut. So I just put a linen thread tie right over that score line and a little tag. It almost looks like a gift package, thinking of you. So that's just a simple way to double the number of cards that you can get out of this kit. And then that linen thread, you might notice, isn't the color of our regular linen thread. This is Early Espresso linen thread, and it comes in a dual pack in our mini catalog. It's Early Espresso and Old Olive. So you get the linen thread, but with a little bit of color, and I love that option. So that's my first alternative project. I'll put it up here, and I'll put it with the linen thread in case that's something you want to add to your next order. And then I absolutely love doing a back fold card when I have an opportunity. So this is what I would call a back fold card, in that I Actually, I don't think it is a back fold card. It's just a fun fold card. Well, anyway, I attached all of the pretty to this side flap over here on the right, and that way you can open it up and see the inside. Okay, so this little strip is just some excess that I cut when I cut this card apart. And when I was designing this card and I created my score lines and I put the card together, it was so pretty. And then I added this white interior, and I knew then that I didn't have my cardstock close enough together. So that white was like a neon light from back behind there. So I just used that little piece of leftover card base to add to the inside and make that white that was shining from back behind go away. So this is wishing you the happiest of days, and that is a stamp from inside the kit as well as one of the labels. Do you remember those metallic leaves that I cut apart? Right here. Okay, that would have been all underneath this project. Okay, so you can't tell that these leaves are smaller and that I'm using part of them over here. This is a full one that I used, and then I also used my 4th label just inside there. I hid some of these edges and some of the ugly. So that is my second alternative project. I'm gonna put it over here. Let me know if you're seeing an alternative project that you like. Ooh, let me pull that one back out. Okay, do you remember how I said these leaves had a definite pastel look to them? I needed more of an autumn leaf. Okay, look at the difference. Can you tell the difference? I am, again, not in my studio, so I am a temporary location, and I wouldn't recommend this. Actually, if you're in a pinch, do it. I used a cotton round, and I was very particular about using the cotton round so that I didn't get cotton fibers on my ink pad. But I used early espresso ink and a cotton ink or a cotton round, and added some early espresso ink. You know, when you start adding ink to projects, you can't take it away. So I always like to start off my project on grid paper or scrap paper and take away some of that deep darkness from an ink pad. And then I can add just a little bit of color to these leaves. So that's how I did that with a cotton round, not one of our sponge daubers that I would normally use, or the blending brushes. Those are fabulous. So I'll bring those back with me when I come back. So then the next thing I want to show you, this would be my 4th alternative project. Or is it my 3rd? I guess it's my 3rd alternative project. Seems like I did another one. Regardless, this is my 4th. I took early espresso cardstock and just used that pretty patterned paper die cut on the front, the card front. I stamped Thinking of You in early espresso, and I added a little bit of that brown metallic. Can you see that? I think the light's catching it. This edge around this stamped image is metallic, so I wanted to match that. Just a simple Thinking of You card. And when I have access to my coloring tools, I'm going to color this corn green because I think that would be so pretty. And then on the inside, I simply used this piece of paper as a template to fussy cut my corners. They're not perfect, but you know what? They're okay. No one's going to notice, and it kind of coordinates, right? Okay, so that little snippet of brown foil that coordinates there is the Earthen Toned Metallic 12 by 12 specialty paper, and that's from the new mini catalog. So you can find that in my online store if you'd like to add that to your product collection. So I'm just going to put it over here to the edge. I'm going to put this card down here so that you can still see it. And then we're all about product coordination at Stampin' Up. So the Fall for Toile Paper Pumpkin Kit is designed to coordinate with a suite of product that we call Autumn Toile. And I'm going to show you that paper. And I want you to see how pretty it is and the coordination that is there. So there are 3 sheets of each design in this piece of cardstock pack. So the trees are on one side, the plaid's on the other, but I wanted to break that up, so I showed it to you like this. Okay, so there's one type, there's another design, love that one. Look at this autumn scene. You could just use this designer series paper as your card fronts. Add a sentiment and you've got a card. Here's the little fox. I think I'm going to save the rest of my foxes to create with this paper. Okay, so that is the Autumn Toile Designer Series paper. If you're interested in adding that to your collection, you can find that on my website as well. So that is the September Paper Pumpkin Kit. Let me show you what's coming up. Hang on. Okay, I actually have a flyer that showcases the next 3 months of Paper Pumpkin. So October will be called Cozy Christmas, and that subscription period is going on now if you're interested in that. You're going to create 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs in 9 coordinating envelopes, and I know that you're going to have pre-cut paper pieces, soft stitched flocking, on these particular cards. Rhinestone sequins will be your embellishment, and the Stampin' spot will be pumpkin pie. So that's in October, and my October Facebook Live dedicated to Paper Pumpkin, if you'd like to add this to your calendar, is going to be Tuesday, October 28th, and that'll be at 6 p.m. Central Time or 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then if you want to continue on and look with me, the November Paper Pumpkin Kit is designed to be treat packaging, and it's called Wrapped in Cheer. You can begin subscribing to that on October 11th, and you're going to create 8 projects, 4 each of 2 tag designs and 8 identical coordinating boxes. So they're going to be foldable boxes that are going to be pre-cut and scored for you. You'll have linen thread and red dot embellishments, and then your Stampin' spot is going to be Mossy Meadow for that one. Okay, so they're very pretty boxes. So you can put a little treat in that, a gift card, something similar. Then I am totally intrigued about the December kit. The December kit says that you can personalize your card greetings with customizable sentiment stamps. So I can't wait to hear more about that one. That kit makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with 9 coordinating envelopes. And it's going to have copper foil accents and sequins, of course pre-cut paper pieces. It'll even have vellum. And then the classic Stampin' spot is going to be Night of Navy. That's one of my favorites, Night of Navy. So that's just a glimpse into the next 3 months of Paper Pumpkin. And there's also a set of dies that go with those kits as well. And they're called Abundant Joy dies. And I actually have those in hand tonight. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dies in that. I love the word joy and this tag. Who can't use a tag this time of year? It even punches the hole for you so you can put your twine through there. So love, love, love this. That's called Abundant Joy dies, and they are available on my website now. So let me know if that's something you're interested in ordering or having me order for you. Thank you so much for spending a bit of your evening in my temporary studio with me, and I hope that you have found a Stampin' tip or trick that is useful to you in your paper crafting. And if you're interested in being a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, let me know. Good evening.